Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this episode of 15 Minutes With. Some of you might be asking, what is 15 Minutes With? What is its purpose? What are its goals? 15 Minutes With is a show about jail and prison. 15 Minutes With doesn't glorify jail or prison. In fact, the purpose of 15 Minutes With is to deter not only young people, but people of all ages from going to or winding up in jails or even prison. Do you know that here in America, the home of the free, there are over 2.3 million people incarcerated. Over 1/3 of incarcerated women worldwide are in fact locked up right here in the United States. Over 13 million people are arrested each year. That is more than the population of Los Angeles and New York City combined. It's a lot of people. From what I just said, you're probably thinking that 15 Minutes With is an anti-police or anti-justice show. If that is what you're thinking, you couldn't be further from the truth. The police risk their lives out there helping others with just pretty much handcuffs, pepper spray, a gun, and their wits or their street smarts every day. There are so many laws, some antiquated on the books, that an average person commits 3 felonies a day, and our courts are showing it. So are our jails and prisons with an overload. 15 Minutes With takes you both behind the walls and the razor wire and out on the streets to talk to inmates who are currently incarcerated and some who have been released from confinement and are living out here in the free world. It is our hope that once you hear their true stories about what the system in jails and prisons are like, as well as the horrendous and outright dangerous conditions on the inside, that those of you who may have be headed down that long and lonely road that leads right to the inside may have second thoughts and think twice before winding up inside those walls and having to live in those conditions. It's our hope you choose the life out here in the free world. Now, here is this episode of 15 Minutes With.
Hello, this is a prepaid collect call from an inmate at SCI Green.
This is a call from
Pennsylvania State Correctional Institution, Green.
This call is subject to recording and monitoring. To accept charges, press 1. To refuse charges, press.
If you have any concern that the person you are speaking with is in mental health crisis or suicidal, please call the State Correctional Institution immediately.
Thank you for using Securus. You may start the conversation now.
Hello?
Hey Steve, how you doing, bud?
Good. Actually, I can hear you pretty good this time.
I got a different phone.
Oh, okay.
I got a different phone specifically because I know there was a problem, with us hearing each other last time, so.
Okay, well, I hear you loud and clear now.
Cool. Yeah, I guess I'll just leave this one plugged in instead of using the other cordless I had. I wanted.
Okay.
Anyways, I kind of wanted to do a dry run too as to what we were talking about, and.
Oh, really? Okay, well, I mean, none of that's really important. Like, what's important is that, I really am very interested in this show and,
right,
like, doing something positive, and, I pretty much closed the door, and he's taught me a lot of problems.
Right. Well, my
life is over.
Well,
that's I made,
This is why I wanted to, I gave you that list of questions. There's one other question that I wanted to throw at you, and it's directly related to everything. But like I said, that's why I wanted to go and do, a really quick run through ahead of time. So you're you're
off limits.
Right, I know, you told me. You're currently at SCI Green, right?
Yeah.
Okay, where is that?
That's in Waynesburg, Pennsylvania.
Okay, do you know why they transferred you down there, or do you have any ideas why?
Well, they said security.
Okay.
But I think it was mostly because of my litigation.
Okay.
That I was bringing. I had the soy case and the kosher case and a few others, and as soon as I got here, they filed motions to kill the case because the injunctive relief was no longer relevant.
Because you're not there.
The cases, it would have forced them to start 2 different diets that they didn't want to start.
This is a call from
Pennsylvania State Correctional Institution, Green.
This call is subject to recording and monitoring.
Okay.
I hate it when they do that.
I know, so do I.
No third-party calls are allowed.
My next question, you still there?
Yeah.
Okay, that was weird. It said no third-party calls. I didn't get that the last time. Anyways, so I know that you had told me that you were doing something, and that you basically had told me your life was on a path for destruction and all that. Because of what happened, and obviously you're doing time right now for the homicides in Cheshire. What were your actual charges that you were convicted of? Do you know?
There were 17 of them. I think 6 were capital charges.
Mm-hmm.
They range from murder, kidnapping,
Okay.
arson. I was acquitted of the arson.
Okay.
Robbery.
Okay.
Burglary.
Now, I got to ask you a question. I know we had talked about this in the letters. I mean, do you feel remorse for what happened?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I was suicidal for almost the first 2 years, where they actually had to have a one-on-one observation where they put somebody outside of my cell. I mean, it really wrecked me when I found out what actually happened, because none of that was supposed to go that way.
So, I mean, I know this question's coming at you from what I had written you. If you had a chance to talk to Dr. Pettit or the Pettit family, would you, what would you say to them? Would you apologize? What would you, do?
Oh, absolutely. I would say I'm sorry. I mean, I am. I mean, addiction's not an excuse, but I mean, I was just caught up
This
in
is a
the
call
cycle.
from
Pennsylvania State Correctional Institution, Green.
This call is subject to recording and monitoring.
I was caught up in that cycle, and I just wasn't thinking.
Right.
And things that happen.
Were you using drugs at that time? Like physically using drugs during the actual robbery?
No, I was on a relapse from crack cocaine at the time, and I was going to get high. I mean, as soon as the money, I mean, I was heading right to the dealer to get high.
Okay.
I mean, that was my sole purpose.
I'm gonna jump ahead a little bit. If somebody was heading down the road that you headed toward that put you in prison, what would you tell them?
There's help out there. Don't give up. There are resources. Just there's not enough for males, as much as there are for females. But there are resources out there. There are people willing to help. NA is a good place to find them. When you get into that, you use your program. Like I said, NA didn't fail me. I failed NA. I had stopped working my program, and then my pride and my ego got in the way, to where I wasn't asking for help.
Would you? Well, okay, you weren't asking for help. Would you tell them not? Like, if they were on I guess I'll call it a life of crime, would you tell them to stop? Would you tell them not to do it? Basically, I mean, I phrased it in the letter to you as if you saw yourself 20 years ago going down this road and you saw another person heading the same path, what would you say to them?
Get off that path. And the thing is, people are hard-headed. I mean, I was told that years ago that I was on a path to destruction, and I never could have imagined that I would have ended up in what I got involved in. I mean, it was so unlike who I am, and that's why I have disorder, because I want people to understand that you never know.
Right.
I mean, it wasn't planned like that. A lot of people think that it was, but it wasn't, not on my part, and it wrecked me.
Okay.
It totally wrecked who I was as a person. It destroyed me.
My next question to you is one of those no-holds bars. I know you said you got acquitted in the arson. Whose idea was it to start the fire? And actually, whose idea was it to start the fire? And more importantly, why the fire? That's what I don't understand.
We didn't think it through, when the whole plan happened. And as we were in the house, started thinking about like CSI stuff, hairs falling, DNA evidence, and started talking about that. And then Josh.
No third-party calls are allowed.
Josh was like, that's ridiculous. We're not making any. Josh was like, oh, fire destroys everything.
Okay.
And, I was like, I didn't sign on for that. But then I'm thinking we're already here.
Mm-hmm.
Made the plan where everybody would leave the house
Mm-hmm.
and start the fire. But then when I went to get it, I was going to leave. That's why I left it. I was at the truck and I made my calls. I told them I'm not coming back. I didn't sign on for this.
Right.
And that's when the plan
No
changed.
third-party calls are allowed.
They're ridiculous. Where, we're like, okay, we just got to pour the gas. We don't actually have to light the fire. The hazmat team would come in, spray it. So we just get everybody out. We don't have to destroy stuff.
Right.
And like I said, he was leading me down the garden path is what it was. Little by little, he had another objective that I didn't realize. And I said, I was just so focused on what I was going to get at the end.
Right.
Like I said, I was going to get high. I was going to get a little bit of a start on life and hook up with the person that I was with, and we could start a life. And it wouldn't have worked because I was getting high. I mean, everything would have went to drugs. But
right.
You got try and think positive thoughts when you're in that process, but the best plans just don't come together. And this was just wrong right from the start.
You said he had another objective. You know what that was?
Wait, what was that?
You said he had another objective. What was that? He was just robbing the house? Is that what it was, or?
Yeah, I think he wanted the girl. I mean, I didn't know that they were neighbors. I didn't know none of that.
So
he
was
says in his
good.
statement that he knew he saw the mom get in the car, followed him home. Oh, what a nice car! Oh, what a nice house! And that's how he picked it. But that's not what he told me when he was sitting in the parking lot.
That's what I was.
When he was sitting in the parking lot, he's like, "Oh, I know the perfect house." So he already knew who lived there.
That's what I was going to ask you.
And they only lived like not even eighth of a mile apart. And from what I heard from the trial, he used to stalk all the girls in the neighborhood. So I mean, I believe it. I don't know it for certainty, but he knew. I said when he told me I know the perfect house, and I know it's like you can't glean that by driving by the house and knowing exactly who lived there. You have to be familiar, and because it's in your neighborhood, it's just. I really feel like a fool. Is what it is. What's worse, people died. Never should have died. Nobody did anything wrong. Mr. Pettit never should have got hit.
With you being in there, what do you miss like the most in there right now? I mean, other than your freedom, obviously.
I don't know. I'd actually have to think about that because I haven't thought about the outside in a long time. I think maybe road trips. Experiencing new things. I mean, everything here is, pretty much the same.
Speaking about everything in there, what would your advice to be to somebody who was coming into prison, like how to make it out in one piece or to survive in there?
See, that's tough because prison's not like what a lot of people think it is. Not anymore. I mean, sure, it can be dangerous, but it's not as dangerous as it used to be.
Okay.
And it's definitely not this place.
Now you're in general population now. We were talking. You're in general population, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And but before that, when you were in Connecticut, you were in a lockdown facility.
Right.
Were you at Northern? Where were you at? You were at Northern, correct?
Right. Northern Correctional.
Okay, and that was a 23-hour and 1 hour. I guess I'll call it recreation.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
You have 1 minute left.
Okay.
Before we
Yep.
lose a minute.
I'm going to do a series with you of a couple of interviews, and then we can go from there.
Okay, that's good.
And
would it be all right to call you? So 6 o'clock or 6:30 at night too late?
Well, actually, you
Or
know
not a
what?
good time?
If you want to call me like Monday at like 6:30, that's fine. Tuesday, you can call me
I'll do
anytime.
that.
Okay.
I'll
Thank you
definitely
for
call
using
Monday.
security.
Okay. See you later, Steve. Thank you for listening to 15 Minutes With. I hope you've enjoyed this edition. If you have enjoyed this edition of 15 Minutes With, please hit the like and the subscribe button. You can also help me keep this show going and watch it get better by donating to paypal.me/Joe Tomaso. That address again is paypal.me/JoeTomaso. 15 Minutes With is constantly looking for new content to upload and new people to interview. If you would like to share your story, or if there's someone you would like to see us interview, please email us at insidetherazorwire@gmail.com. That email address again is insidetherazorwire@gmail.com. Last but not least, again, if you like to support this channel, please subscribe and hit the like button. Until next time, we'll be seeing you. Hey guys, it's Joe Tomaso, and thanks for listening to this segment of 15 Minutes With. While I speak with a lot of high-profile inmates on this show, my hopes are that some of the listeners, especially the younger ones or the ones that are heading down that path of committing criminal acts or the wrong path in general, take something from this show that will stop them from winding up on the wrong side of prison walls. This is my third interview with Stephen Hayes. Stephen is one of two individuals that were involved in the notorious Cheshire home invasion case, which happened here in my home state of Connecticut. When all was said and done, 3 members of a loving family would be brutally murdered, and the town of Cheshire would be asking themselves why. If you get something out of this show, I ask that you click the subscribe button. Also click the like and the notification buttons if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening on one of the other platforms, please click the like and subscribe buttons there as well. You can also help me keep this show going by making a donation by going to paypal.me/Joe Tomaso. That's paypal.me/JoeTomaso. And now, without further ado, here is this episode of 15 Minutes With.
State Correctional Institution. Green.
This call is subject to recording and monitoring. To accept charges, press 1. To refuse charges, press 2.
If you have any concern that the person you are speaking with is in mental health crisis or suicidal, please call the State Correctional Institution immediately.
Thank you for using Securus. You may start the conversation now.
Hello. Again, this is Stephen Hayes calling from SCI Green in Waynesburg, Pennsylvania. And I'm here talking to Joe Tomaso.
Okay, so my questions to you, Steve, that we had, who was basically calling the shots that day? I've read various accounts as to who did what, who said what. So whose idea was everything, and who was actually controlling everything that day?
Well, the idea started when we were in the halfway house. Josh posed it to me when we were in the room, and at that point, I thought it was just crazy. You know, it was just something that we were talking about, the way, you know, people talk about all types of dumb stuff. It wasn't until when I got out and things were starting to go wrong. I couldn't gain any ground financially.
Mm-hmm.
The person that I was with was
getting ready to be released from a program, and I'm working 3 jobs, but I just couldn't make ends meet. I couldn't get a vehicle, so I was getting really frustrated with money. I couldn't get a car loan. I mean, it was just, there were all types of programs to help out pregnant females or females, but there was nothing really set up to help out a male. In fact, that's what the social service worker said after he cut my food stamps off after the first week. I said once I got employment, they cut them off. So then Josh was also having problems at that time, money problems, and that's when he mentioned it again.
So you're saying that Josh was actually looking into this while you guys were still in the halfway house?
Yeah, that was where the idea first came up.
Okay, got
Shot
you.
it down then. I actually shot it down the second time, saying, no, that's crazy. But then as things started to progress, and I started, becoming financially strapped, I started getting high. And that's when it was like, you know what? I'm getting ready to get kicked out of the house. Let's do this.
Okay.
And the first night was a Saturday. We went into 3 houses. I pulled them out of all 3 because I just was afraid of doing it. And then on Sunday,
This is a call from Pennsylvania State Correctional Institution, Green.
This call is subject to recording and monitoring.
then on Sunday when we were talking, I was going to be evicted the next day. I was afraid that I was going to lose everything. I was on parole. And in hindsight, that was a bad idea. The parole officer would have put me right into a program, and but I didn't see it that way. I saw that my time was running out.
Right.
Called him on the phone. He was sitting in Stop and Shop parking lot waiting for somebody to show up and pay him for a roofing job. And he tells me, I got the perfect house. It's a husband, it's a wife, it's 2 kids, it's easily managed, because that's what my excuse was the night before. And that's how things were picked. Now, he doesn't say that in his statement. He says that he followed the person home. He was like, what a nice car, nice house. And that's all BS. He lies about everything.
Right. If you were able to ask Josh 3 questions, what would they be?
Why didn't you tell me the truth? Why didn't you tell me what you really had planned that night? I don't even have 3. That's the only question I would ask.
And you're talking as far as that was with the girl, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. If you were able to make a direct statement to him regarding everything that happened.
Pennsylvania State Correctional Institution, Green.
This call is subject to recording and monitoring.
If you were able to make a direct statement to him, like face-to-face statement to him about everything that happened and where you guys are now, do you know what that would be?
That's a tough one. I mean, my life is ruined over all this. Everybody's life is ruined. The statement that I would pick now is, I made it last week. Let these people be. Just do your time. It's not fair to anybody. It's not fair to Connecticut. It's not fair to the public. It's definitely not fair to the family.
Right. I know you were in it for the money and, for drugs, etc. And I was going to ask you what Josh's motivation was, but I'm sure that you're going to say the same thing. It was the girl at this point.
Said it was money. That's what he said at first. He wanted the money too.
Would you say he's a predator?
I didn't see that at first. And I really don't know enough to actually say that. What came out at trial, and like I said, that he used to stalk the girls in the neighborhood. I don't know if that's true. Like I said, there was so much that I wasn't paying attention to at the time. That's kind of a tough word because the life that he did live, if what they said was true about how he grew up with his family and all that, he was a victim as well, I guess.
What would you say to an individual if you found out that they were planning to do a home invasion?
Do not do it. Nothing works out the way you think they're going to.
Okay.
It's not the way you do it.
What would you say towards somebody who was heading toward a life of crime, meaning somebody who is gonna, start doing thing after thing after thing to burglaries or anything? Is the same thing, or?
Oh, that's easy. Look at me. Look at my record. Look at what I was involved in. Look at what happened. I never, ever would have thought that I would be convicted of what I'm convicted of and in prison. I mean, I kind of thought that I would do the rest of my life in prison, but not for this.
You talking about like a life in the installment plan kind of deal?
Yeah, and that's what I was on. I kept screwing up, but it all does come back to, getting the proper help for your issues, for addiction, for my gender dysphoria. Like I said, I was diagnosed at 16, and never even knew it until 2018 when I was going through my juvenile records. It was in my juvenile records. It's like the diagnosis is right here. I knew something was wrong or something was different. I just didn't know what it was. And
so I'm trying to think of other things that I can ask you, and everything circles around, what happened. I think you're filling me in on the timeline that he had picked this out, and now it's even, the house itself wasn't picked out until beforehand, but you guys were actually talking about this stuff when you were at the halfway house in Hartford. So how long was that before the actual home invasion, when you guys were still in the halfway house? Was that a while, or was that like pretty close, or?
We were in the halfway house in 2006.
So it was a year before.
Yeah.
Okay, so he was thinking about doing something the year before. You guys just didn't get the traction to do it before then.
No, it was just talk, and I was like, that's just crazy. That would never work.
This is going to be, I read all accounts. I've actually seen pictures too. When you guys first walked in there, my understanding is Dr. Pettit was, I guess, asleep. What made him actually swing that bat right off the bat on him?
I don't know. He was supposed to open the door, and right there where the door was, and I kept waving, like open the door, open the door, open the door, and then he just started swinging. I'm like, I should have just ran. I was like kind of messed up at first, but then like I said, I did go in, and I couldn't tie him up. I was just like, I couldn't do that. I was just like really messed up.
So your plans weren't really to do a home invasion. You were just going to go in there and rob the house and take off.
Well, no, it was a home invasion, but everybody was just supposed to be put on the couch, and so they can everybody see each other, that everything was okay, and that way there would be no problems with the bank. I mean, it was a stupid idea right from the beginning, but we thought we could make, or I thought it would work. Everybody knew everybody was safe, and there would be no problems.
The other thing I was going to ask you, because I actually read this in the transcripts and stuff too, when the fire got lit, why did you close the doors? Was it because you were trying to maybe stop the fire from getting to them, or was it to hold them in the room? What was it?
Close what doors?
I read in the transcripts that after the fire was lit, the doors to the rooms that the family members were in, you guys closed them.
I thought they were open.
No, it literally says they were closed.
No, I never went upstairs.
Okay. So everybody was upstairs. You were downstairs?
Well, the mom was downstairs.
Okay.
Others were upstairs. I never went upstairs, so I don't know.
Okay.
I was under the impression that the doors were open.
I actually read that the doors were closed after they said that the fire was started, and the doors were closed after the fires were started. So I didn't know if somebody was trying to actually keep the people alive, and hope that somebody would have, the fire wouldn't have penetrated, kind of thing, and maybe hold them in there.
Yeah, I don't know how to answer that, because I never went upstairs, so I remember something coming up about the doors. I just I thought it was that they were open. But now you mentioned something about closing. But
Right. Yeah, it says the doors were actually closed. So, and Josh started the fires upstairs. Did you start the fire downstairs or no?
no, it was started downstairs.
Okay, so the fire was started downstairs by you or him?
Him.
Okay, he did start the fires. Okay. At some point they claimed that you had said you had killed 17 people, yada yada yada. I mean, is that legit, or is that legit?
No. I was very suicidal, and I knew Northern was reading my mail, and I had this crazy female writing me, and so I knew if I wrote this, my hope was that they would come up, ask me where, to find the people or find the bodies or whatever, and I would say, like they do on TV, well, I want this, I want that, and I was trying to get something that would kill me. Right.
Because I read about the oyster. Yes, I'm wondering if that's how you got lobbed into that serial killer thing. I mean,
that's why. No, well, that's why she contacted me, because she was looking at the Route 8 murders.
Right.
And because she's from Warrington.
No third-party calls are allowed.
That's what they were thinking. And the police never even investigated. Nobody investigated it. In fact, it never even would have got out if it wasn't for corrections leaking the documents.
Gotcha.
They leaked it to the prosecutor for Josh's
lawyer.
And even
No third-party calls are allowed.
I read books and I saw movies, and it's like, okay, let me try. Like I said, I was desperate to die at that point. They were just not letting me go. I was actually actively trying to get. I mean, I fought my defense team to get the death penalty. I didn't ever cooperate with them. I mean, they were trying to get me life. I was trying to get the death penalty, and then once I got it, I made 4 attempts to waive my direct appeal. And the 4th time, they were going to let me do it. That's how they brought Columbia University in to change the conditions on death row.
Gotcha.
Because, but yeah, no, I was. In fact,
so it had nothing to do with the death penalty. It was all on your being suicidal.
Yeah, I mean, up until I got here, I was going to die when I came out to population. I had a plan to be gone in 6 months, and that's when I met Miss Scott, and she recognized that I was transgender. And like, how do you even?
That's what I got to ask you too with your transgender. Are you getting? I don't know why I want to use the word treatment, but I know that you had brought up the severe gender.
You have 1 minute left.
Damn, we're not going to get this. The severe gender issue. I mean, are they treating you for that, or are you getting any kind of help up there?
Yeah.
You are? Okay.
Well, there's hormone therapy. That's it. There's other things that I'm looking to get.
So you're getting hormone replacement right now?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I've been on that for a year.
Okay.
Year and a half.
We're gonna get cut off, just so you know.
A lot of problems with the presentation as a female. I mean, a lot of people accept it. But this facility here, you have a lot of racist and bigot staff, and they're not happy with it.
Right.
So there's 2 of us here that are feminine.
Right.
You have 8
No third-party calls are allowed.
that are labeled as transgender. But
Thank you for using Securus. Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to 15 Minutes With. I hope you've enjoyed this edition. If you have enjoyed this edition of 15 Minutes With, please hit the like and the subscribe button. You can also help me keep this show going and watch it get better by donating to paypal.me/Joe Tomaso. That address again is paypal.me/JoeTomaso. 15 Minutes With is constantly looking for new content to upload and new people to interview. If you would like to share your story, or if there's someone you would like to see us interview, please email us at insidetherazorwire@gmail.com. That email address again is insidetherazorwire@gmail.com. Last but not least, again, if you like to support this channel, please subscribe and hit the like button. Until next time, we'll be seeing you. Hey guys, and thanks for listening to this segment of 15 Minutes With. While I speak with high-profile prisoners on this show, my hopes are that the listeners, especially the younger ones or the ones who are heading down that path to committing criminal acts or the wrong path in general, take something from this show and walk away from doing something that could possibly have you on the wrong side of those prison walls. This is my second interview with Stephen Hayes. Stephen is one of two individuals who was involved in a heinous crime that happened here in my home state of Connecticut. Unfortunately, just about everyone has heard of the Cheshire home invasion case. A home invasion that escalated to 3 murders that ripped a loving family apart and shook the quiet town of Cheshire to its very roots. If you get something out of this show, I ask that you hit the subscribe and notification button if you're listening on YouTube. And if you're listening on one of the podcast platforms, please subscribe as well. You can also help me keep this show going by making a donation by going to paypal.me/Joe Tomaso. That's paypal.me/JoeTomaso. And now, without further ado, here is this episode of 15 Minutes With.
Oh, this is a prepaid collect call from
Stephen?
an inmate at SCI Green.
This is a call from
Pennsylvania State Correctional Institution. Green.
This call is subject to recording and monitoring.
To accept charges, press 1. To refuse charges, press 2. If you would like to permanently block your number from if you have any concern that the person you are speaking with is in mental health crisis or suicidal, please call the State Correctional Institution immediately. Thank you for using Securus. You may start the conversation now.
Hey Steve, how's it going?
Ready to get this thing rolling?
Yeah, actually, I'm going to the Actually, you know what? Let's just start it off with this way. So, I'm talking to Stephen Hayes, and Steve, why don't you tell everybody, who you are, the facility you're at, and why you were there.
Okay, my name is Stephen Hayes. I'm one of the 2 men responsible for the 2007 Cheshire home invasion, Cheshire, Connecticut. Presently, I'm serving 6 life sentences, and I'm being housed in Pennsylvania Department of Corrections, specifically SCI Green in Waynesburg, Pennsylvania.
A little background on the case. Obviously, there was I don't know if you would term it as a kidnapping, but that was one of the charges. And then there was a homicide that was, I believe, secondary to a fire that was started in the home. And in our last interview, when we were talking, you had basically told me that the fire was set to destroy any forensics evidence, correct?
Well, originally that was what the idea was, but I do need to backtrack a little bit, because originally I had no idea that it was going to be anything other than, and I'm not trying to minimize it here, a home invasion, kidnapping for money. It wasn't until after things began that I guess all the red flags are popping up, that there was something more going on here than what I knew. And it has to go back right to the very beginning. I was talking to Josh that Sunday afternoon on the phone, and he said he had the perfect house. It was a husband, a wife, 2 young girls, easily manageable facility that we could handle without a lot of problems. But when you look at his statement, he says that he followed the car home, saw him in the parking lot, said what a nice car, followed him home, said what a nice house, and that's when he decided. So I mean that contradicts the reality that he already had the house picked out.
Right.
And then you also factor in that the house was right in his neighborhood.
Right.
Well, target young females.
Right. So my other questions to you. You and I had talked, and I want to throw this out there as well. You're fully aware that Josh's case, because you and I had talked about this earlier, you're aware that Josh's case is going up in front of the state Supreme Court in regards to some irregularities that are being alleged. What's your stand on that? What do you think about that?
Actually, I kind of take a pretty hard stand. In fact, I had talked to my defense attorney.
This is a call from Pennsylvania State Correctional Institution. Green.
This call is subject to recording and monitoring.
She says that he's going before the state Supreme Court. It could be, I guess there's a Brady issue and a publicity issue and a few other issues that we had as well. But the difference is, I elected not to go on with anything because I don't want to cause any more harm to the family. Well, I was not guilty of everything that happened that night, and I truly did not know that a lot of the stuff was happening. I'm guilty. And as a result of my involvement, 3 innocent people are dead, and they shouldn't be. And so I've elected to do my time and do something positive with it, where I can get the message out to people that I wasn't a monster. I got caught up in what they call a relapse. My relapse was 30 days with 3 get-highs. And in recovery, a lot of times people, it was only 3 get-highs. Well, look at what happened here. I ended up in one of the most notorious crimes in Connecticut history. I don't agree with bringing litigation forward at this point to try and get around a guilty plea or a guilty verdict that was deserved. I mean, we both did our parts that night, and he's still trying to defend his. There's no defense to what we did, and it's something I'll never get over. So I also told my attorney I want no part of this trial. If he is granted a new trial, I will refuse to testify against him, for him, anything. The family doesn't deserve to go through this anymore.
So you're basically saying, you got your time, and he got his time, and it should be over now, not to put the family through any more.
This is a call from Pennsylvania State Correctional Institution. Green.
This call is subject to recording and monitoring.
Not to put the family through anything more.
Absolutely.
Okay.
They've been through enough.
Okay.
And to go on, I feel it's an insult to the family, even to the people of Connecticut, to try and revive another expensive trial, and for what? We were guilty.
Right. How old were you when you first started getting into trouble?
Oh, geez, I was young. There's a lot more to just get in trouble. I mean, there's a lot more to the story than addiction. There's also the subject of what they call gender dysphoria. I don't know if you know what that means. I'm a transgender. I was diagnosed at 16 with sexual identity disorder, and my family never acknowledged it, and it was never treated. There's a lot to it, but a lot more happened. That addiction came in. That's where the self-hate came in.
Are you getting treatment for that now in Pennsylvania?
That's actually a whole other story. Yes, I'm getting hormones. I do get very little therapy.
Okay.
Most of the help I get is from this amazing person that I met. I've given my life rights over to this person, and I think this is a great person to get that story out as well.
Okay.
If you would give me the opportunity in another episode, I would love to go into more of that.
I know that you also said that you saw yourself going in a path of self-destruction, and you were gonna say something to people, whether it be young, say, teenagers that were getting into trouble, or young adults, or even adults, 20s, 30 years old, what would you say to them if, as far as going down that road and actually getting in trouble? Is it worth it?
It's absolutely not worth it. If I had a chance to do things over, there would be a lot of changes in my life. Unfortunately, we don't get do-overs. Once that bell rings and you can't unring it. And I'm now never going to go home. And I deserve to be in prison. I hurt people because I wasn't paying attention to things I should have been paying attention to.
The other thing I want to ask you, because you just brought up the fact that you are in prison. Do you think that prison actually rehabilitates people, or it's just more of a human warehouse?
Honestly, I think it's more of a human warehouse. I'm constantly fighting prison politics.
Mm-hmm.
Their policies are, they look good on paper, but in practicality, they really don't work. You have people in this state that I've watched that are actually innocent, that have been in jail for a long time and are not getting out. People that shouldn't be out, released on parole. I see people who complete their programs, do what they should, denied for failure to complete program, which is contradiction to reality. Who don't do their programs get let out, they shoot a police officer.
Right.
And it's not just Pennsylvania. It's a lot of the prison systems. It's because they're overcrowded and, people really don't know what to do anymore. They just started to warehouse people. And there has to be systematic change everywhere. And while I can't change all that, I'm hoping that, through this YouTube opportunity, and I might be able to reach a couple people that are out there that may question the path that they're on and realize that it can happen to anybody.
Right.
I never thought for 1 second that I'd be in the situation that I'm in.
Can you describe to me and to the listeners what your day is like in the inside? I mean, can you do what you want, like out here in the free world, or does the prison basically tell you what to do and when to do it?
Well, right now I'm in general population. I was released to Gen Pop last year. I'm told what to do, where to do it. I try and work my way into freedoms, and I do accomplish very few, and they come with a lot of hard work. There's a lot of pettiness, both with prisoners and staff. It's not the place to be. People just try and edge out the best life they can, and right now my sole purpose is to edge out a life to where I can be, I guess, a light to somebody, and I can try and reach out to the prisoners here. Although being transgender, that makes it difficult. A lot of people just turn away from that because they'd rather just look at me as like some type of freak, and it doesn't matter what I have to say, whether it can help them or not. But I was hard-headed like that. It really is. It's a tough environment to live in. It's not an environment that I would ever wish on anybody.
Okay, so now my next question to you, and actually before I ask the question, I want to bring this up because we had talked about this. Some of the next series, because we're going to be doing, several segments, I want to go over, like, I'll call it a timeline, but basically it's, what happened, not a who did what, but not a step-by-step, actually, but kind of to let the public know, what happened during that day and a half, and things like that. So, and, we had talked, and, you were in agreement to, that you were willing to do that. Are you still in agreement to do that, or?
Yes, I am. I mean, I no longer have any more litigation to try and overturn my sentence. As I said, I made it very clear I don't want to be called a witness in Josh's case, but it's time that the truth of everything came out. I really do get tired of, I'm here in Waynesburg, my co-defendant is across the state, and people get transferred here. sugarcoating. You guys, you were working for the Democratic National Party. He's a contract killer and all this crazy stuff. Like, none of it is even true. You know?
Well, here's the other thing too. You know, like you previously actually said that you feel remorse for what happened. That's true. You feel sorry for what actually happened. I mean, I hear you, you know, saying that you don't think he should be going through with another trial, you know, because of the simple fact. I mean, you actually apologized to the family.
I was actually suicidal, so much so for 18 months that they had an officer outside my cell, and I still ended up in intensive care over what happened.
Steve, we're actually at the 13-minute, almost 14-minute mark. We only have 15 minutes. So if you saw a young person or a person that was heading down the path that you did, you know, that would lead them to jail or prison, if you could talk to them, what would you tell them?
Don't be me. I was that person. I knew everything. When people told me that, look, you're heading down this path of destruction, I refuted it, saying, no, that's not me. It's not going to happen to me. And I can't imagine anything worse happening to myself and that family and my family.
Are you still there?
Yep.
Okay, good. I thought we got cut off. So we're at like 14 and a half minutes. I just want to make sure we get this. I really appreciate you talking to me, and we're going to be talking
You
again.
have 1 minute left.
There we go. We're going to be talking again tomorrow. We're going to talk again for at least 3 more times, and we can get the the listeners to know a little bit more about what's on the inside, a little bit more about what happened, and your feelings toward everything. You know, the case in general. You know, being in prison, and again helping individuals to hopefully avoid becoming an inmate themselves. So I really want to tell you I appreciate what you're doing.
And thank you for giving me the opportunity to do it. I mean, it's my chance to give something back. And if I can, I really do want to do that.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Steve. I appreciate it.
Okay, well, we'll talk to you soon. And again,
Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to 15 Minutes With. I hope you've enjoyed this edition. If you have enjoyed this edition of 15 Minutes With, please hit the like and the subscribe button. You can also help me keep this show going and watch it get better by donating to paypal.me/Joe Tomaso. That address again is paypal.me/JoeTomaso. 15 Minutes With is constantly looking for new content to upload and new people to interview. If you would like to share your story, or if there's someone you would like to see us interview, please email us at insidetherazorwire@gmail.com. That email address again is insidetherazorwire@gmail.com. Last but not least, again, if you like to support this channel, please subscribe and hit the like button. Until next time, we'll be seeing you